Today I have been thinking a lot about how we as experts communicate with clients. The other day I was chatting about how do you vet an expert? How do you know if an expert's any good? And part of that was communication. How does the expert speak to you? How are you, what questions are they asking? How do they understand what you're trying to say? And I think part of that, which I'm not sure I talked about, was how do they make you feel? Because I've been thinking today about the way that experts speak to people that have hired them. And I mean, my only example or my only experience is in accounting. So that's the examples or that's the point of view that I'm speaking through. But I know that this happens in every profession. Like accounting or accountants are not the only people where the non-expert is made to feel like an idiot, or they just don't understand what the expert is trying to say. So, for example, if I needed to ask for information from a client, I could ask for exactly what I want in the language that I normally use as an accountant. But they're not gonna understand what I'm asking for, probably. So, for example, if I had some outstanding invoices that I was doing bookkeeping for somebody, and this person had outstanding invoices in their system, and we were at the end of the year, and I just wanted to make sure that those invoices were truly outstanding, or if they had been paid and somehow just got missed or something like that. If I sent them an accounts receivable aging report from the system, from the accounting system, and I said to them, the receivable, the invoices here are outstanding at the end of the year. Is the age receivables right, or something like that? This may be not a great example of technical language used, but if I send that report and I ask them, here's a list of all the invoices that are still outstanding, have any of them been paid? That might not be the best way to communicate with somebody. I mean, some people are going to look at it and say, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and that's great. And you know that about your clients, and some are not. Some will look at that report and just think I have no idea what this means. What does this mean? What do these columns mean? What do these numbers mean? What are you asking me for? And then they're going to rage quit because you're supposed to be the expert. Why are you asking them? Blah, I don't want to do, I don't know. Aren't you supposed to know? So, and I think that as experts, that's really our job, to communicate to our clients. How do we do that? And how do we do that in a way that makes them feel good? Because as we all know, we don't if we don't like someone, we're not going to work with them. Or maybe we will, but it's terrible. And for a lot of people, especially people that don't know or that are afraid of whatever your expertise is. So for me, that's, people that are afraid of money, or they're afraid of taxes, or whatever it is. If they're already afraid of that, and then I, come in and just treat them like they should know better, they already hate dealing with this stuff, it's gonna make it 10 times worse, or 100 times worse, or whatever, if I just pile on to that. So really understanding where your clients are coming from, I think is key to being able to communicate with them. And you kind of know that, you can kind of figure it out as in the first few conversations that you have with, or even in the first conversation that you have with somebody. If somebody's talking to you and they're scared, or they're nervous or they're asking you questions, but they're sort of saying, like, oh, this might be a dumb question, or I should probably already know this, but like, I think as the expert, we get to hold space for them and to say, listen, there are no dumb questions. You shouldn't already know this, and that's why we're here. We're gonna learn together. Like, let's figure this out. And just making it a nice and like a space, an environment that somebody is willing to be vulnerable in. Because I think as experts, we really can't get our best work done if we don't do that. We're never gonna get the best partner or the best like working relationship from our clients, because they're going to struggle to really show up 100% for us, which just means nobody's really getting 100%. Nobody's really winning. So I spoke about that from the expert point of view, but I think on the flip side, from the client's perspective, if you're somebody who is afraid of whatever the subject matter of the expert that you're trying to hire is. So if you were going to hire a lawyer and you were afraid of law, or you're going to hire a doctor and you're afraid of like doctors, I guess, the medical system, then it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid, and it's not your fault if the expert makes you feel terrible. And it's not just part of having to deal with an expert. You're both human beings. So I think let's take care of each other, especially when we're in a situation where one person holds more power in a sense because they have more information than the other person. So I think that's something that we all should work on, and that's definitely a key piece of my business. How do we work together, and how can I support you? What do you need right now from me? And how can I communicate that to you in a way that you're going to understand and you're not going to feel overwhelmed? I would love to know how you communicate with your clients. How are you aware of this in your business? And what's your, I don't think policy is the right word, but like, how do you approach this kind of thing? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you tomorrow.